What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. Today we're going to take a look at the self-shocking Tesla coil. Now, to make the Tesla coil shock by itself, we of course are going to be adding in the water elemental shard. I know a lot of folks like it, and the water elemental shard can be effective, particularly the earlier in the game you are. However, with it having a 29% chance on hit to drench enemies when gilded, it adds one big thing as a main crowd control source, and that is inconsistency. Now, the other trouble with doing a setup like this, Mass Destruction, Vicious, and Water Elemental on this particular Tesla coil, is we are turning the Tesla coil into a utility tower or a hybrid tower by sacrificing some of its power. Now, giving up power to add in utility is, it is a balancing act, and if there's other options, you are almost always going to be in better shape. Now, by turning this into a hybrid tower, we're just taken directly away, like I mentioned, from its potential. The same can be said about hybrids in a whole. The second you try to do multiple things with one particular item, that means that item is not going to be doing its full potential in either way. Now, the water elemental adding in the inconsistency, like I said, can you use it? Absolutely, you sure can. However, it's just not going to be as good as if you are applying these elements with 100% chance through other sources. Let's take a look at the damage output normally on the Tesla Tower with the double stack, of Mass Destruction and Destruction. So let's give it all the ideal conditions. So we'll give it a Destructive Pylon, we'll give it a Boost Aura, then we'll give it a Buff Beam, and we'll upgrade that bad boy all the way up, and let's check it out. So in this particular situation, with all of the things that could buff it, we've got a tower that's putting out 26.1 million tooltip DPS. Its attack at every 0.24 seconds. It's just gonna scream. This is a pretty darn good tower. Of course, it chains around. It's good stuff. Now, 26.1 million tooltip DPS. If we go ahead and we take out that destruction and then we throw in water elemental to make this a utility tower instead, let's give it just a second to correct. And then now we see our DPS has dropped down to 18.4 million. That is a big chunk, y'all. 18, I mean, that's just a massive amount of damage. So by turning this into that utility tower, we're just taking away too much. All there is to it. Now, with all that being said, obviously I'm beating up a water elemental a little bit today. With all that being said, does it work? Yes, it does work. Does it work as well as alternatives? Absolutely not. However, if you want to do a self-shocking Tesla tower, by all means, go for it and have a little fun. And away we go. Now we're going to do, it won't be the exact build because of course last time I used water auras. However, we will give it a whirl with a real similar build to what I used last time around. So let's go ahead and go with 4 Teslas here. We're actually going to be able to fit one more Tesla in, I believe, because we don't have those water auras. We'll throw a boost aura in, and then let's get that destructive pylon in, say right about there. Then we'll throw in a buff beam to make it just all more glorious. That's all we are going to do for these 2 lanes, just that setup right there. So 300 DU with 2-lane coverage. Not too shabby, really. Now, we got, 200 DU left. I think some reflect beams will be in order. Now, this build should still bring the power. Let's take a look at it again. We're using that water elemental. However, it's not going to be as much power as we would have without it, and additionally, the crowd control is going to be inconsistent. So when you put those things together, what does that mean? That means berserkers are going to get through. So without me manually killing the berserkers, there is going to be some issues. Now, of course, when I ran this double stack and destruction, we had the benefit of just sitting here and shooting on this lane since it's a short lane. we'll do the same thing there. And of course, last time I didn't lose any sub-objectives. So let's see if we're going to lose any sub-objectives this time around. We do have a little bit of DU left, though, so let's see. Let's go and throw an obelisk down over here. It actually leaves me 80. I could do something else, but what do we want to do? Let's see, we got our 4. We got our 4 here. We've got everything in, all our key components in. I guess we could add a maybe a reflect beam to this core as well. Go something like that. And that does leave me a little bit of extra DU. Not having the water R's down, of course, makes a big difference there. So basically, I am just going to watch the lane. The only thing I'm going to fire at here is the Berserkers. And then we'll see if any Berserkers get past and kill the sub-objectives on the other lanes. Of course, the last time I ran the map, double stacking mass destruction and destruction, I'll put a link up in the cards below. No Berserkers got through on that particular run. Now, one thing to note right away is you see the electrocute is going off, but it's certainly not consistent. Here comes our little Zerkiness. That one actually got handled pretty well. So, very nice there. Let's just see what else we can do. We got us a Wind Shaper there. It died right away, so no problems there. We're going to have to wait until we get a little bit heavier Zerker lane to push out. We're actually... Ooh, we had a close call just right there on wave 1 on that particular lane. But it looks like we're going to be good. We should get through the majority of this one. Like I said, we've got the crowd control going. But the crowd control is just not as consistent as it would be if I was using a water aura and had full power on this. It would guarantee those enemies are drenched. That way, every time the Tesla Tower hits, it's going to be a 100% chance of electrocute. Now, of course, if the enemies aren't drenched, then we don't get anything. We just get the damage. Let's kind of go even upgrades on everything here. Well, on all the Teslas anyway. And let's see. Let's get some in over here on this lane as well. What do we have for a boss? We got a siege roller on this one, so we're going to have to put in a little effort into that guy. And then we'll let's dump into our obelisk back here. Very nice. Well, I can even give that obelisk a destructive pylon, get a little bit more damage out there around the map. Let's go ahead and let it fly again. And once again, the main thing we're looking at is Berserkers here. You see those orcs are coming out pretty far, or that front one anyway, came out really, really far before it got CC'd. Now, of course, in this particular instance, we're getting another hit on the crowd control. You see those Berserkers, they got stunned eventually, but they ran a long way before getting any stuns at all. So, it actually looks like it's holding fairly decent. Alright, now let's see how they do against the bossery. We're going to need to slap a few upgrades in here. I think we're in pretty good shape now. Alright, so boss incoming. We got a Slakelion we might want to take care of. He shouldn't be a problem. We'll get a little burn on him, but shouldn't be too bad. And then where is our boss? Looks like our boss is coming from the far lane. Actually, that will give me an opportunity to maybe get Dragolich on it while those Teslas are getting some work in. So, yeah, they're getting a little... actually, Drago's cooldown was not actually up yet. Spoke too soon. We can try it again in 5 seconds here if we don't have this dude dead yet. And there we go. Now it should just be a smooth burn. We got a little Drago action up in there. And there it is. So, not awful. Absolutely not awful. Now, was it near as smooth if it would have been with just 3 Fishers, a Boost Aura, and Destructive Pylon in each lane? Absolutely not. It was nowhere near as smooth, as that would have been full-on AFK all the way up to the boss. So, not a perfect, wonderful, viable defense, but definitely one that works. So not too terrible, and can get the job done. Now, like I said, I personally would suggest stacking the power instead and throwing in the water auras, or a proton beam with water on it, or a weapon manufacturer with water on it, or a ramster with water on it. I personally would probably suggest using any other alternative other than that water elemental, particularly if you're using the Teslas as your main damage. Now, if you aren't using your Teslas as your main damage and you're just having it in as a support tower, then yeah, by all means, water elemental it up and get yourself a little bit of crowd control in the mix. But that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton for watching, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.